Howard was the first Embry-Riddle All-American in track and field and a 4-time All-American. 3 times indoors in the 60 hurdles, and he also was an All-American outdoors in the 110 hurdles back in 2010. He was an awesome teammate, not just a great individual runner, because our team won the conference championship each of his 4 years here at Embry-Riddle. After graduation, he continued to give back to the program by sticking around to get his master's degree and helping Crystal Barge, Brianna Goring, Alex Dory, and others all compete as hurdlers, and each of those 3 qualified for the national championship under his tutelage. Earned a Bachelor of Science in Aeronautical Science and a Master's in Aviation here from Embry-Riddle. His nomination packet had some wonderful words from several teammates, Rita Woodard, Kevin Bray, and others who are here tonight. But the one that stood out most to me was from Drew Moses, and I'll read that to you. As Howard's friend, I was able to see his ability to engage with all types of people within the university, as well as in the Daytona Beach area. As a kind person, he would invite close friends and classmates over to have weekend dinners just to become better acquainted. There were also times when friends or new teammates didn't have anywhere to stay due to financial issues, and Howard opened his home up for them, never asking anything in return. Howard's integrity and character led him to be a close confidant of many teammates and friends. He just had a way of understanding people's problems and providing great advice and support. These traits allowed Howard to be a leader, oftentimes without a title, that people continued to follow to success. Here to speak a little bit more about Howard Walls is our head track coach, Mike Rosalino.
So this is a little tough and a little bittersweet of a moment for all of us here tonight as we get to honor Howard and everything that he accomplished here and everything that he was. But for many of us, it's also the reminder that the Lord decided that it was time to take him home much too early for most of us. And so it is a tough night for a lot of us to be here honoring Howard, also knowing that he was taken from us in a motorcycle accident less than 12 months ago. But in remembering who Howard was when he was here, some things really stick out to me. And Howard was one of the hardest working, perfectionistic athletes that we've ever had. Howard ran a race that took anywhere from 7 to 14 seconds. He's the only inductee here. You're going to see a video of his whole competition. We got to see your videos, Ryan. We saw your pictures. We saw Evans chase a golf cart for 7 seconds of his 24-minute race. We got to see Kevin strike out every batter he threw to you. I think that happened, right? Almost. But in Howard's case, we're actually going to see his whole race. And it took 7 to 14 seconds, but Howard would spend 2 hours a day perfecting that 7 seconds. He would sweat more in his warm-up, and his teammates will tell you this, he would sweat more in his warm-up than I think Evans did in a race. He warmed up more than 45 minutes before a 7-second event because he wanted to make sure he was ready. And he was every time he showed up. I think he is the only athlete in the history of our program who hit a national qualifying mark every time he stepped on the track. Every race that he ran, he either hit an A standard or a B standard. Even the one where he fell over the last hurdle, he still somehow hit a national standard. He was that kind of athlete, that kind of competitor. But as competitive as he was, that's not what made Howard special for us. What made Howard special was he turned our program around. He was the program difference maker. We were in our 2nd year of the program, and we were kind of just having fun being there. And Howard challenged each of us to think that we weren't just about being there. We were there to be nationally competitive, and he elevated our program to that level. And when he became an All-American, the whole team became one. And the names became synonymous as Howard Walls and All-American became synonyms. And he made everybody else want to do the same. And everybody else realized the kind of work ethic that it took to be there. But off the court, or off the track, Howard was nothing but a gentle teddy bear. And he was the person that everybody went to with their problems. He was the person that everybody went to when they needed something. He was the person that you went to when you just needed to have a friend around. And he's also the joy of the party. And the person that brought joy around the room. So he elevated our program not just on the track, but he elevated our program to what it meant to really be a family, and what it really meant to be a great teammate, and what it meant to do things off the track as well. And I know we'll always be indebted to him for what he did for our program. But I will tell you a couple funny stories about Howard. Just because I had to lighten the mood a little bit. Howard's freshman year, I'll never forget this. We were at practice, and I think this is before Coach Juki was around. I think Coach Juki came in that spring. So I got to coach the sprinters for a few days. And one of those days I told him, hey, we're going to have a little recovery day today. We're just going to go for a short little 2-mile jog. And Howard looked at me like I had 4 heads. Coach, I can't run 2 miles. I was like, Howard. I said, what did you do yesterday at practice? All right, let's go through this. All right. We did 3-lap warm-up. And we did some drills. Then we did like 6x200. We did, I don't remember what else we did, a couple other things. And then we did a mile cool down. I was like, Howard, you ran 3.5 miles yesterday. I said, what did we do the day before that? We went through the whole workout. We had run 3 miles that day too, and 3 miles the day before. I said, Howard, you've been running 3 or 4 miles every single day of practice. I said, dang, coach, you tricky. Sorry, Howard, you run like 25 miles a week, but just keep doing everything I tell you to do, and we'll be all right. That and Howard had an amazing ability to lean at the end of the race. I think you might see it in one of the videos, but in one of his national meets, we're sitting up in the bleachers, and it is obvious to us that he finished in 8th place. He was still good. He was still be All-American. He was 8th place. It pops up on the screen, he's in 3rd place. 3rd place? How'd that happen? Well, we're excited. He's in 3rd place. It's awesome. You look back at the video, and his back end was in 8th place, but somehow he had the ability to run with his chest ahead of his legs in the last 3 steps, and somehow his chest was in 3rd place, even though his back end was in 8th place. Amazing ability, amazing leaders. And then the last story I'll tell you about is Howard as a coach. And I'll never forget this. We're at his first year as a grad assistant coach. And we're at the national meet, and one of his hurdlers that he was coaching was about to run. And Howard's up in the bleachers, and I need a quick slide because he is pacing back and forth in the bleachers. And we're all looking at him like, Howard, what's going on? Coach, I don't know how you guys do this. Man, I am more nervous up here in the bleachers than I ever was in the blocks. Welcome to coaching, Howard. Wish we could do it for you. More nervous as a coach for his fellow teammates and for his athletes than he was ever for himself. But that's the kind of passion and the passion he had for his team, and what the amount of dedication he had to our program and wanting to see it be elevated. It's great to be here to honor what Howard did for our program, and also a chance to kind of be with the family, and also express our sympathy, and also to know that we're here with you. So I think we're doing a video next. Let's watch the video.
I know many of you come here with mixed emotions concerning Howard. I would like to tell you a story that may help. Prior to FCA, some of the members of the track team met in small groups to study the Bible. One particular evening, we were discussing the sacrifices that Jesus made for us. After the meeting, Howard caught me, put his hand on my shoulder, and said, "Thank you, Coach. I finally get it." Those words and the conversation that we had after is where I receive my comfort when I think about how short Howard's life was. So tonight, I ask you to do what Howard would want you to do. Celebrate for him.
The name Howard Walls and All-American are synonyms in our program. Howard was our very first All-American, and Howard elevated our program from individual improvement to conference level to national prominence. And it was Howard who challenged himself, challenged his teammates to become a national power. And for that, we'll be forever indebted to Howard Walls, All-American.
Now it's my privilege to bring up the presenter for Howard Walls is one of his best friends, Andy Williams.
Well, that is not the easiest thing to follow, but that was a beautiful tribute video to my brother Howard. So good evening. I am humbled and honored to be speaking tonight. It's truly a special occasion, and congratulations to all of the inductees on this tremendous accomplishment. I'm here to speak about and present on a man who is no longer with us in person, but in spirit. Howard passed away on March 4th last year. But his legacy lives on through us every day. That is why we are here tonight. Howard and I met almost 20 years ago as two scared adolescents entering a new school. We met at Augusta Christian Schools in Augusta, Georgia, where we grew up together. I'll never forget the first time we spoke. We were taking an entrance exam during the summer, and we spoke briefly that day. That was it until the school year started. I had been at the same school my entire childhood, and Howard was making the major transition from Pittsburgh to a new state. Within a week or so, we became friends. Within a few more weeks, we were best friends. Shortly thereafter, we began referring to each other as brother. And that is what we called each other until the day he left this earth. Brother. As we entered middle school, Howard started out playing football. But after his late mother, Renetta, saw him take his first hit, that was the end of that. She put a stop to it right then and there. And so track it was. Renetta was a beautiful human being who I could speak all night about. She helped Howard develop into an inspiring and successful young man. Shortly after, Howard began competing in track and field events. And from the start, he dominated everyone he encountered. He set records that still stand at Augusta Christian. Under the guidance of coaches Charles Cooper and Keith Walton, Howard developed into an outstanding athlete. Howard won 2 state championships during his high school career. The first came in 2004 when he became the men's high hurdle champion in the Georgia Independent School Association. The second came the following year when he won the South Carolina Independent Association championship, with the time that still stands as the state record. His excellence did not stop on the track field. He excelled academically. Howard received a scholarship to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, where his excellence continued. He had several great mentors and coaches here at this university who helped him become not only a better athlete, but a more driven individual who would go on to inspire others to achieve greatness. He was the first All-American in Embry-Riddle's men's track program, as you've already seen, and a multi-winning All-American. He still holds records at Embry-Riddle that stand to this day. Professionally, Howard went on to work for Spirit, Continental, and Allegiant Airlines. His career path took him to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Houston, Texas, and Las Vegas, Nevada. He had an impact on many people in the airline industry and beyond. We could talk all evening about Howard's athletic, academic, and professional accomplishments. However, in my opinion, the greatest thing we can accomplish in living our one life is to leave a lasting legacy which lives on through others. What I feel to be most important is what we leave behind. What is left when this life is said and done? Howard left a lot. There are some of you here who had the great privilege of knowing Howard, and there are many of you who did not. He was one of those rare people, a once-in-a-lifetime person who lit up every room he walked into. Those of you who knew him know exactly what I'm talking about. That bright, warm smile, contagious laugh, and caring demeanor. When you were around him, your life was better and you wanted to be your best self. You could not be around him and not be happy. And the tremendous thing is, this still holds true. When I think of Howard, I still want to be my best self, and he still puts a smile on my face. His legacy will live on. My wife Brianna is here tonight. We grew up together with Howard. And we have a 5-year-old son. Our son Brandon has always called him Uncle Howard, which is beautiful, because not only does Howard's legacy live on through all of us here tonight, it lives beyond us. A 5-year-old who talks about him daily. And one day he will tell his children and other people about Uncle Howard. Howard's legacy lives on. As I begin to close, I would like to say that after 31 years on this earth, I have learned a lot. I have a lot left to learn. I believe we should never cease to learn. But I do know that the greatest compliment anyone could ever give me is that I am a great father who has raised a child who has made a lifelong impact on the lives of others. That I've raised a person who has inspired other people to be their best selves. Someone who has uplifted and encouraged the people around them. A person who is going to leave a lasting legacy. Before I welcome Howard's father, Howard Walls Sr. up here to accept this honor on Howard Jr.'s behalf, Mr. Walls, I want to give you that compliment. You are a great father, and you and Renetta raised a son who made a lifelong impact on the lives of others. A son who inspires me and many other people to be their best selves, and who has a legacy that will live on for many generations. Howard continues to uplift and encourage us still, and it is a wonderful honor to acknowledge him tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, as I present this award to Howard Walls Sr., let's give a round of applause to my brother, the All-American, and this year's ERAU Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, Howard Walls Jr.
First, giving thanks to God, to whom all honor is due. To the administration, faculty, and staff, athletic department of Embry-Riddle University, to the other recipients of this great honor, to my family and friends who have traveled the distance, and yes, Ryan, it does take a village to raise a champion. With the friends and families of Howard Walls, please stand. It is truly an honor to stand tonight for my son, Howard Charles Walls Jr., who has gone on to be with his heavenly Father. And although this is a bittersweet occasion, I assure you that Howard would insist on this being a time of celebration. Celebration of dreams coming true. And although he is not here with us in the flesh, I assure you he is here with us in the spirit, with a contagious smile saying, dreams do come true. To John Phillips, John Atkinson, Sharon Aiken, Coach Rossellino, thank you. Thank you for making this happen. Howard always dreamed, had a passion for flying, and dreamed of being a commercial pilot. As a young age, he would spend hours flying his Microsoft simulator. Once during his disappearance to his room, and after he had missed lunch and dinner, he explained he was flying in a snowstorm and had been diverted to Denver. He was low on fuel, and he landed safely, and dinner was not that important. He pursued his dream first to start at a small airport in Aiken, South Carolina, and at the age of 17, he soloed and received his private pilot's license. On one occasion, I was working in Orangeburg, South Carolina, about 90 miles from our home and from the airport where he had trained. Howard decided to fly down and pick me up after work. As I waited in the airport with the airport manager, I started to share this story about him disappearing and flying. And as I told him about how he would disappear for hours over the PA system, I heard this voice say, Orangeburg Municipal. This is Echo Sierra 12439 on final approach. And immediately I visioned a little boy with a big dream. Of course, as we taxied off, I told Howard that if we crashed and he killed us, I was really going to be pissed. And he gave me his signature response, Dad, don't worry, I got this. And we had a great flight home. And then he came to Embry-Riddle, where he obtained his BS degree and master's degree and some flight ratings. And his dream came true. Secondly, his dream was to be a competitive collegiate hurdler. And through the goodness of God, an exceptional coaching staff and hard work, he became an All-American here at Embry-Riddle University. He continued to enjoy his passion for track and field in Las Vegas Corporate Challenge, earning gold in the 100-meter hurdles and 4x100. 2 consecutive years. As a matter of fact, Allegiant Airline was actually named to have brought in a ringer just to win the corporate challenge. And that was not true, and that was his second dream. And both dreams came true. If Howard was here tonight, he would tell you one of the things we often spoke of. First, he would say, and we would always agree on this, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness, and all things will be added unto you. Treat others the way that you would like to be treated. And finally, dream it and own it. To his mother, Renetta McLean Walls, who had preceded him in death, his grandma Doris, Uncle Keith, Aunt Wanda, Miss Carol, you were his family and the biggest cheerleaders. You gave him endless love and support. To all his friends who always had his back, to his teammates who always encouraged him. Through these friendships and encouragement, he was able to excel, but he always wanted to say, the team wins first, then I win. To Coach Ross O'Neill, Coach Hoppy, and to Coach Ellington, I say thank you. Timeless hours, days, and years for condition, training, and mentoring a thoroughbred. I say thank you and humbly accept this great honor on behalf of my son, my great son, Howard Charles Walls Jr. May God bless each and every one of you. May God continue to bless Embry-Riddle University. Go Eagles.